Hello and welcome to day 10 of my 30 days of belly dance. I'm so excited that you're still here on this journey with me. And finally we're getting to hip drops. I can't believe it's day 10 and we haven't looked at hip drops yet. So let's start with our nice posture. So use your feet hip width apart, knees and everything in alignment here, ankles, knees and hips, lower tummies pulled in, standing nice and tall, chest lifted and lower bellies pulled in towards the spine, so we get an ever so slight extension in the lower back there. Okay, so we're going to start by taking one foot slightly forward. We're going to let the heel come up so the knee comes forward but the pelvis is staying level to start off with. Then we're going to use this little muscle in here to pull the hip up and drop it down. Squeeze up and drop it down. Squeeze up and drop it down. And we're going to make this movement like a little bounce. So we're just going to pull up and relax. And it's really important that you let go on the relax so that you really get that feeling of drop, like a bit like bouncing a ball. We're just going to bounce this hip up and down. Let's take some opposite arms. And just bounce the hip, keeping the lower tummy muscles pulled in and working with that hip. Let's try the other side. So the other foot comes forward, roll up. Again, this muscle here is pulling up and pulling up. So I'm not really squeezing with my glute too much on this side. I'm using the muscle, the tummy muscle, to pull up and release and getting that little feeling of that little bounce going again. I'm going to extend my arms and just frame the movement, and I'm bouncing my hip. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So this is the starting point for our hip drop. So when you've seen this move performed, you've probably seen it performed like this. And there's this kind of flick thing, kick thing going on in the foot. So let's have a little look at that. So the foot is coming forward and we're starting with our foundation little bounce. So we've got the hip up, down, and then we're going to take the hip up again, and then this time the foot is going to release and the hip is going to come down. So there's more of a downward movement in the hip, so a bigger drop. So this is really where we get the drop from. So the foundation is to prepare, and then the drop is really the movement that we're trying to catch, that dum in the movement, dum in the music. So we've got dum, 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 and it becomes a very powerful movement, and also it can be a very playful movement. Let's try on the other side now. So raising the hip, little bounce, and then you come up, and with this second down you release the foot. So up and down and release, up and down and release. And people call this a kick or a flick or lots of different names, but it's really just releasing the foot. And I think it feels a little bit like your foot just goes. It's almost like if you had a stiletto heel on and your heel suddenly went, it's kind of gone from underneath you. But obviously you're in control of the movement. You know it's coming, so you need to be very strong in your supporting leg. So this leg is really grounded. If I just show you from the side, I'm really grounded in this leg. I've got all my weight here, so I'm leaving this leg free to move. So I'm grounding and I'm moving here with my other leg. And from the other side. Okay, I'm going to show you the movement now from behind. Let's try that once more. We'll try it slowly together. Prepare, release, prepare, release, prepare, release, prepare, release. And full speed. Other side. Prepare, release, prepare, release, prepare, release, prepare, release. Full time. There is really so much that you can do with this hip drop movement. This is really sort of the beginning of a journey in the next level of the dance. So you want to really go away and find a piece of music with a nice, steady, regular beat that you can hear really clearly, and you'll be wanting to hit the beat with the downward part of the movement. Dum, 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 other side, dum, 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 dum. And I want you to get a feeling of being strong in your standing leg, soft and releasing in the opposite leg. And as we begin to advance this movement, we can think about using the muscles in the standing leg to support the movement with a little glute squeeze on the standing leg in between the movement. So if we just take our weight into one leg and we just think about squeezing the glute in this standing leg, it's quite tricky to do. And we'll try the other side, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze and squeeze. Let me show you. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Other side, squeeze, 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 squeeze. So not on the hip that you're dropping, you want the squeezing going on in the supporting leg. So we've got our normal up, down, and then when we release and drop, squeeze. And that gives the movement an extra little zhuzh across the back. So we've got prepare, squeeze, prepare, squeeze, prepare, squeeze, prepare, squeeze at the side. Prep, squeeze, prep, squeeze, prep, squeeze, prep, squeeze. Let me show you from behind. But that's an awful lot to think about if you're new to the hip drop movement. What you want to start with is your bounces, so get the feeling of that with your music. And then when you're ready, you can add your releases. And then when you're comfortable with that, you can play with the squeeze, just to get the variety and to make the movement a little bit sharper. So off you go, find a piece of music, practice, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next one. Bye!